Good afternoon. It's October the 11th. I haven't been able to walk all week, so glad I can get out now. It is a beautiful day, and one thing about a little bit of delay is that you'll see a bigger gap since the last time I walked. You see a much bigger difference in the autumnal situation here. So why didn't I walk? Well, on Monday there was a book launch up in Saskatchewan for the Glass Lodge, 20th anniversary edition of a poetry collection by John Brady MacDonald, First Nations author, and that was at the Prince Albert Public Library. So I had to drive up there, about a 4-hour drive, and then drove home again the next day. Of course, I guess I could have walked up there, but it didn't really work out. And then I was just so swamped with publishing tasks the last 2 days, I didn't get out at all either. But I am out now, and it's a beautiful day, as you can see. About 14 degrees, maybe 15. Sunny, and somewhere in the last few days, the leaves have really started to turn. I think it may be because we've had proper frost now a couple of nights. That always seems to speed them along. Thought about walking around the lake, but I think I'm going to walk along the creek. It's a long weekend, so there's probably more people around the lake right now than usual. I don't know. I just, for some reason, felt I'd walk along the creek instead. It'll be pretty. I might go a little further out and go over. Let's go this way and go over past Louvain. It's usually pretty over there. Yeah, so the publishing stuff, I have 2 books coming out in November. Well, there's another coming out before that, actually. So 3 books coming out in the next month, and more coming after that. So I've put myself in a bind, time-wise, for sure. But the 2 that are coming out in November, The Sunrunners by James Bowen, a companion collection of short stories called Tales from the Silence, which is coming out from Endless Sky Books, which is my hybrid side of publishing, but it's a companion piece to the Shadowpaw Press title. And it's a science fiction set in a future in which the Earth blows up, metaphorically. Civilization kind of has a rough stretch on Earth, and so they end up falling silent with all of the colonies out in space having to deal with this. So the short stories kind of talk about that. And then The Sunrunners is set on Mercury specifically. And it's set when Earth reestablishes contact. So the Mercury colonies are quite interesting. They move. They're cities that move following rail lines, essentially, around the planet to stay ahead of sunrise. Because if sunrise hits them, they're cooked. I put on the sweater because it was cool in the breeze, but now I'm thinking it's a little warmer than I need it to be. It's okay. See? Pretty in both directions. I think the last couple of times I walked, my lenses looked a little smudged too, so hopefully they're clearer here. I think they're okay. The trouble is, of course, they're on the back of the phone, and you handle the back of the phone, so occasionally they get fingerprints on them and things like that. We'll go down here, get up on the dike. So we can start along the creek from there. Anyway, I had to get those 2 books to the printer so they had a chance of getting them to the author, so he can bring some to CanCon, Science Fiction Convention Ottawa, that I'll be at and he'll be at. basically the first weekend in November. Already having to look at my spring-summer titles. I'm cutting way back next year. I'll have only 4 books in spring and summer, one of which will be mine, which is cool. And, well, cool for me. Hopefully some readers will find that cool as well. Middle grade book called Fireboy. Fantasy. Could begin a series. Probably won't. Okay, up the stairs onto the dike. There's be 2 science fiction and 2 reprints. That's all I have planned for next spring, summer. Well, one of those is fantasy as well. The other one isn't. I'm getting out of the reprints, though. These are probably the last ones I do through Shadowpaw Press, barring something unusually exciting. Okay. On the dike. The creek, of course, is to the left. The sun is quite warm. I'm regretting wearing a sweater already. What you gonna do? Another thing I did this week, I did a presentation last night to RUSI, which is the Royal United Services Institute. There's a Regina United Services Institute. Anyway, it's what it sounds like, military. Originally mostly veterans, but veterans and their families. And I did a presentation on a book I published, the second book I published through Shadowpaw Press, and it was 6 years ago, I guess, this fall. It came out right about now, actually. It's One Lucky Devil. It's the First World War memoirs of my wife's grandfather, Samson J. Goodfellow. So I did an in-depth presentation on the book, and read from it a bit, went over very well. The book continues to sell, but, a few copies every year. All right, looking east. Water's quite green. Algae in it for some reason. And looking west. Still a lot of green in the trees, but a lot more yellow than there was a few days ago. Still seems behind other years, and again, I think it's because we didn't have an early frost this year, like we do some years. A month from now, we could be under snow, so we'll see how it goes. It's hard to imagine on a day like today, but it's certainly possible. Heck, it'll be 2 weeks, we'll be under snow. Usually Halloween doesn't get snow, but it can. I usually figure it's about 50-50 by Remembrance Day. November 11th, of course. This is, of course, Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. Columbus Day weekend if you're in the States. We're not making a big dinner, but we'll do some Thanksgiving-y meals. The bell would have been nice as he went by. And of course, there's a dog. There's always a dog. You can walk any time of day or night, as far as I can tell, in any kind of weather, and you'll find dogs. Water's fairly still today, a little ruffled in places. Might go down in the grass today. Haven't done that, for a long time. Get off the path here and walk down through the grass on the other side of the bushes. You can get on that path right up here shortly. Tentatively, I'm going to walk a little further today. Okay, we'll go down here among the trees. Oof! And carefully watch the ground because it's not even back here. I'm going to just give my lenses a bit of a rub here. I know my screen is certainly smeared, so okay. Oh, there's the creek right there. There's the path, but we're going to stay over here in the grass. Up here is the tree that keeps you from bicycling along here. Unless you can get really low as you go under. Almost keeps me from walking under it. I have to duck. Here, I want to make sure I don't step a little too far and fall into the creek. That would be unfortunate, to say the least. And along here, too, it slopes down fairly abruptly to my right. I think it's gotten sloppier, too. We want to come over here when it was slippery in the wintertime. Of course, that's the other side of the dike, and the houses on the other side over there. kind of peters out up here and will rejoin us with the main path. I'll leave it here. Go this way. This takes you into that field. And by the horseshoe pitch up here, which we'll go by next. It's a football game tomorrow, so I'll be walking to that, but I won't live stream it. So, maybe Sunday I'll get in another live stream. We'll see. In the shade, a little bit of sweater feels good. When you get to the sun, it feels like too much. Okay, here's Elphinstone. We will cross into Les Sherman Park from Kiwanis Park. Just couldn't wait, apparently. They dug up all this land earlier this summer, and I don't really know why. Must have been some sort of sewer or water work. Airplane going over. We had a big windstorm a few days ago, and you can still see twigs and branches down here and there from that. I'm sure that's when that probably came down. Next highlight will be this dog up here. And after that, there's a footbridge to go over. You can just sort of see it over there, trying to peek through the trees. So down to 40 for this curve. Not much of a curve. Last time I walked on this side down there, but I'll cross over today. But I am going to take the shortcut right along the riverbank instead of following the curving path. And so I'm going to walk a little further than usual in that direction. Okay, time for another look at the creek. From here, to the east. To the west. And on we go. Except instead of following the curve, I will simply turn left here. And follow this path, which is a bit shorter. Not sure what they did here. I don't know what all that represents. They did a lot of digging, and there's all sorts of things sticking up. Well, there's some new trees over there. Now, what this is, are they like turning that into a thicker stand of wood? Maybe. Hard to tell. Well, if I keep doing these walks, eventually we'll see. That's definitely a little grove planted over there. And it's all along there. They're doing something. It's all fenced off, and there's little flags. And there's a sign over there. I wonder if it says what's going on. Let's go take a look. Maybe a little stand of trees there. It says Cathedral Community Forest. I think that's what they're doing. They're turning that into a thicker stand of wood instead of parkland. Huh. Wonder why. I don't particularly object. I'm just curious. I mean, it's a pretty big project. If all these little flags mark something where a tree was planted, that is quite a forest they're working on there. I think we'll see it in all its glory in my lifetime, but should see it develop. Another sign. Spruce. The blue ones are spruce. Siberian larch, pine, Manitoba maple, paper birch, trembling aspen. They are literally creating a forest. Huh. There's even a QR code there. I don't think I want to focus on it because then this will go out of focus. For all I know, it'll turn fuzzy the rest of the way, so let's not do that. Well, I had been wondering, so I'm glad I saw the sign. How often do you see a forest before it's grown up? All that seems like a lot of trees. Now these, on the other hand, look like they've recently been trimmed. Okay, today we're going to go up under the bridge, and then the bridge after that too. Here's one of the places you can get much closer to the water, should you wish to. Ooh, some cormorants, I think, down there. That's what those are on the branch there. Although I could only think that because of reading a book called Missy Lee by Arthur Manson, part of his Swallows and Amazon series. They were in China and they used cormorants to fish with, but That's what I think of when I see those. Maybe there's some sort of loon. Not a bird expert, that's for sure. Might see them better from over here. Oh, there's 3 of them there. Parkland, Soap Pitch Diamond. Here's the other place you can get down. In the wintertime when the ice is frozen, I'll come down here and walk out onto the creek sometime. Not today, a little thin yet. This is also where you're most likely to get flooding in the spring. Off the creek up into the field here. There's often a big puddle there. That's the street. We'll go under it. Bridge, under the bridge. And up the other side. Sometimes I cut over that way, but today I'm going to go farther. Where, yes, I will keep right and control my speed. Last time I came this way, I was on the other side of the creek. We're in an industrial park area ahead of us across a golf course. Part 3 golf course, it's right up there. So the weir is over here. I don't think there's much point going down and looking at it because nothing but dribbles coming over it at the moment. It's kind of damp, but that's about it. There's no appreciable water falling. It's part of the, you can see it better from this direction, part of the level control system for the creek. The creek is a real creek here. It's kind of why Regina was built where it is, I guess. It was there was a source of water, such as it is. But otherwise, there's nothing to distinguish this patch of prairie from any other patch of prairie, really. Except for land speculators. determined a lot of buildings and cities grew. I should say cities, not buildings, in Western Canada. They knew the railroad was coming through. When the railroad didn't come through where people thought it would, it killed communities like Cannington Manor down in the southeast. It was quite a thriving little community. Now it's a museum, what's left of it, historic site. I wrote a lot of the copy about it that's in their interpretive center a few years ago. This is Louvain. That's why there's two sides, because it's a 4-lane. Louvain Bridge. That's a very unnatural brick wall over there. The original creek would never have had anything like that. And there's a golf course up on the other side of it. Par 3. I think it has sand greens too, so it doesn't get a lot of groundskeeping. Kind of a rough and ready. Oh, they planted more trees along here too. I don't remember this row of little trees being here last time I walked this way. Not a forest, but more of a windbreak. Oh, and up there, the police appear to have caught a speeder, or else they ran a red light or something. All kinds of excitement today. Yeah, Craig Golf Course, that's what it's called. And it shows the arrow points that way, but there's no way across the creek there. You can't get there from here. Probably a speeder, I would guess. It's probably a city maintenance truck. Yes, it is. So they look after these new trees. So eventually there'll be a whole line of more trees along here. Looks like they're watering them right now. Fenced in to keep rabbits from eating them and dogs from peeing on them while they get a foothold. I don't know what's going on up there. Got stopped for something. Running the plates, I would assume, is why they're just sitting there. Oh, these are still very green. Touches of color here and there, but I don't remember if these get particularly yellow or if they're just one of those trees that suddenly loses all their leaves while they're still kind of green. Up here a little ways, we'll climb over the dike and then head back across Louvain along 13th. Then walk back through Cathedral area. So Rush is on the other side, cattails. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Afternoon. That's a curling rink over there, Sandra Schmerler curling rink. And of course, the airport is back over my left shoulder that way. There's an off-leash dog park where you can see a little bit of fencing further up. I don't think I'll get that far today. Somebody right down by the water for some reason. Throwing something in. I don't know what that was. Fishing? I wouldn't think so. It's not legal if it is, and you wouldn't want to eat the fish that you caught if you did, because of the runoff of pesticides and things around here. At least I wouldn't. Guess I can't speak for whoever that is, but I don't think he's fishing. Still, pretty along here. Once we get to the top of the dike, I'll cut down that away. And that'll be the end of this particular westward trek, and then we'll be going east again. There's a path that goes down there. Maybe he is trying to fish, but I wouldn't if I were him. All right, we'll go up here. Join this street over here. And then we'll be heading back to the house, which is that way. How long to here? 38 minutes. Well, probably a bit shorter back. More straight, but still a good hour, which is what I figured today. Oof. Made it down without breaking my neck, barely. I don't even know what you call this neighborhood. Over on this side of the new van. We follow 13th all the way out to the bypass, sort of. We usually take the bypass when we're heading to Saskatoon these days. We'll go out Dudney. It's probably longer, but once you're on the bypass, it's much faster than going through town. So we figure it's a wash. It's calmer anyway. Little houses, and there's a little park with a playground in it here. Coming up on the right. Woof. And a dog objecting to my presence. I always know it's a fairly quiet street when people put a baseball diamond right on the street. Basketball hoop right on the street. It's a very small baseball diamond. Now we walk through the playground. Stop for a slide. Have a go on the rocking horse? Maybe not. This is a part of the city's maintenance department here, this facility. As it says right on it, Parks Maintenance District 3. And up here we will cross. Hopefully we get the light. It doesn't change before I get there. It's always annoying. You have to wait for another cycle. It's pretty long north-south cycle, so I think we're going to be okay. Perfect, actually. It'll change in about 10 seconds. So Louvain goes down that way. Mosaic Stadium's over there behind the trees. This is 13th, which I've often walked along. I'm going to go through this park over here to 14th and walk along 14th as I go home. And there's our green light. Nobody has said hello today. I know people have been watching, but I haven't had a single hi, how are you? It's okay. You can just watch silently if you want. This is a nice little bit of greenery here, green space. Houses start right over there. Some new ones, some old ones. That little one would be an old one. The big ones would be new ones. The original houses here are pretty small in this area. I lived in a house about that size for a while before I was married, renting it. And it had been built in 1914, I think they said. Absolutely nothing to it. It was a box. The bathroom opened off the kitchen. There was no hallway. The bedrooms opened off the living room, one room basically. And then open stairs into the basement, unfinished basement. That was it. A few hundred square feet, very few hundred square feet. Maybe 750, maybe less. But it worked for me at the time. And the location was great. Not far from where I live now. I pointed it out a few times when I walked by it. It's not a rental place anymore. Somebody owns it and they've done some work on it. But it hasn't gotten any bigger. All right, well, across here, there's actually a bike path along here, which somebody seems to be parked in. I'm not sure how they justify that. I'm going to get on the sidewalk anyway. I'm supposed to park in the bike path. I'm pretty sure it shouldn't even be in the bike path of the vehicle. Oh, someone said hello. Afsai? Yes, I think it's because we've had some frost now. That always seems to hurry them along a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a particularly great year, leaf-wise. Not that we have beautiful fall colors, because almost everything goes yellow. So when you do see something red, it pops. And there are a few beautiful red trees in the neighborhood, maples, I guess, but mostly everything goes yellow or it just stays green until it falls off the tree. Maybe gets a little brown. There's a bit of red in the hedges that'll pop out of it. So now we're on 14th. Yeah, a little bit of red there. Some new houses along here. Quite a row of them, actually. You get some of the original little ones still down there. can you tell it's Halloween? By the skeletons looking over the fences. Almost Halloween. I'll be gone for Halloween. I'm also gone to Saskatoon this coming week for 2 nights, so probably no walking those days either. I came back from England. I was sure I was going to, not miss any days. I'd be going full speed ahead, walking every day, but not so much. Many scavengers that go through recycling. Never used to see that as much as you do now. That's 2 I passed on this stretch. One was down an alley, and then that one. A bit of orange down in that tree. Another newish house here, or an old one that's been refurbished. I guess that's a duplex. Very yellow, very, very yellow garage. Looks great in the snow. Anything brightly colored is a relief. You see it on a snow-covered day, under a gray sky. Oh, big new one up there on the right. It has been a while since I walked down here because I don't remember that one. I just didn't notice, but it feels like that wasn't here the last time I walked this way. Probably it was, and I just didn't register it until now. Big one. Oh, I think it's an old one that's been rebuilt and added onto, maybe? Hard to tell. Maybe. The glass. A nice stretch of color on the left there. Different shades of yellow and some green and dark green and a splash of red. Getting close to Connaught School, which will come up on our left. Brand new school, replaced an old one. That was in bad shape. We're getting close because I have to slow down to 30K. Hope I can manage that. See, whenever you get one that does go something other than yellow, it really stands out. Almost to Elphinstone up there. So go by the aforementioned Connaught School, which is off to my left. See it in a minute. View now. Kids on the playground. I guess they have school today. I wasn't sure if they would. It's a long weekend. Squirrel. Don't know if you saw him. I saw him. Still some flowers hanging in there, even though there's been frost. There's Connaught School. I still think of it as brand new. It must be maybe 10 years old now, but it still feels brand new. You've lived here long enough. And on the wrong side of the street for the crosswalk. It may or may not matter. Depends. Maybe I will cross over. It's looking down Elphinstone, which has a nice arc of trees. Sometimes I'd walk down there, but college is closed and not easy to walk along, so just stay down this side of things. Oh, that's fairly colorful. There's the fence that always has children's artwork on it from a daycare or somewhere. I'm not sure. Outdoor gallery of children's artwork. And a one-eyed rabbit. I know it's got two eyes, but only one is looking at us. But I always think of it as a cyclops rabbit. And for some reason, 14th doesn't go through. You have to zig. One of our tree-lined streets. Elections coming up, civic and provincial. It's the yard sign. Hello. Now, I actually came on this side, but I may have to jog back to the other side because of 15th. Although possibly 15th is fine for pedestrians. It's only cars. But it's blocked for college. They had fencing half covering the sidewalks on either side, so it's been a real pain to walk along. And more of a pain if you live there. Maybe it's okay to walk along. Let's go find out. Worst that can happen is I'll have to go up to the alley instead. Cathedral is just over there, but you can't see it from here, but it's there, trust me. Some more flowers hanging in. .55 so far, so I will be a little over an hour when I get home, which is not too much farther now. Oh, actually, Yeah, this is 15. For a minute I thought this was college, but it's not. If it's not blocked off for pedestrians, I'll walk down to Italic and home from there. I don't think it's blocked for pedestrians. It's only blocked on one side now, it looks like. Rather unusual to have this kind of row house arrangement, a modern one anyway. There's some old ones. Oh, I see. Yeah, it is blocked both ways. This is Garnet Street. This is the one I lived on when I first moved to this neighborhood, but much closer to the river. So yeah, if you went down there 3 blocks or so and quite a bit downhill, that's where I lived originally, in the neighborhood. When I first moved to Regina, I was way up in the northwest. Only there for, what, a couple of years, 3 years maybe, at the most. Cameron Street would take us back to the footbridge, but we're not going that way. Is college still blocked, or can I get across? It looks like I can get across, potentially. Let's go find out. Because this takes me right to my present. I think it's open. Looks like it. Somebody just turned down college. They opened up the whole street. Worthwhile coming here. Worthwhile taking this walk just to find that out, because we've been avoiding college. It's the most direct route to many different places. Including had a trip to the vet with the cat this morning and went way out of our way because we didn't think we could go down college. I think we can. Unless they've just moved it even further down. Oh, we'll know in a moment, won't we? So yeah, Cameron goes straight to the footbridge, but because I live on a crescent, the crescent is in the way. Oh wow. I think it's open. Dusty, but open. Very dusty. Huh. There's a nice red little tree. Or little red tree. That dusty school bus is about to come past me. Heading to having school. Almost done, a little over an hour. Stop at the intersection up here. These are elm trees that give us this nice arching. And every year, a few somewhere in the city seem to get Dutch elm disease and get cut down. But so far, we've lost a few elms on this crescent. I don't know that it's been Dutch elm. We are actually kind of at the end of their natural lifespan anyway, so some of them are aging more than others. You have to bring them down if it looks like they're going to fall over or drop a massive branch on somebody's car or something. They have been trimmed quite a bit as well over the years. I think for that reason they keep a close eye on them. Branches. And every now and then there'll be a day when they come through and trim a bunch of branches. A nice little red tree over there. Oh, my mic has been on all this time. Nobody said it wasn't, but that doesn't mean it hasn't gone dead. I've been walking in silence. Nope, it's still green. That's good. I'll definitely want to charge it after this long a walk. Gives you no indication it's going to quit. It just suddenly stops working and somebody says, "Hey, I can't hear you." It's the first I know of it. Okay, I will stop here. So thanks for walking with me. Hope you enjoyed that. It's a lovely fall day, and bye for now.